Niall Stanage is here, White House columnist for our partners at The Hill. Am I overstating the problem?
No, I don't think you are. I think the decibel level of panic is rising here because of this whole range of problems that President Biden is suffering from. If the election were held tomorrow, it seems to me pretty clear he would lose. And that obviously alarms Democrats a lot.
For so long, it has been remain calm, everything's okay. The White House had it under control, and they sort of wanted to project this image of everything's fine. Are the alarm bells starting to be heard inside the White House? I'm
not sure if they're starting to be heard inside the White House. I think they're being heard very loudly in a broader liberal and democratic world. In the White House, they still believe there is a path to victory. It's basically emphasizing the economy and kitchen table issues, stressing abortion rights, and trying to paint Republicans too extreme. Is that going to work? That's the question.
All right, new Reuters Ipsos poll shows Trump holds a small advantage in 7 states where the 2020 presidential election was the closest: Georgia, Arizona, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, North Carolina, Nevada, and Michigan. In those states, Trump led 41 to Biden 35, 24% undecided. So important, but not necessarily definitive. Certainly, if you're Donald Trump, you're a lot happier with that poll than if you are Joe Biden. Other than waiting for Donald Trump to screw up and say something really wild, which invariably he does, what's the White House's plan to get a win?
Well, its plan right now is to spend $25 million in this advertising campaign that's on the air right now, focusing primarily on swing states, stressing the president's economic record. They believe that his economic record hasn't got the credit it deserves. They want to tell that story. Now, a Democratic strategist was saying to me just the other day, that's fine if it comes to the end of that campaign in December and he's in a much improved position. What if the numbers don't move? What then? And that's where the problem is.
So, and I want to just be fair to the White House, but their idea is that people are going to see this advertisement and say, how I feel about the economy is wrong. What do they think people don't understand about what President Biden has done?
In short, they think they're failing to grasp 2 things. One is the job creation record, which is legitimately strong, in fairness. The other point is that even though inflation ticked up, it is a long way down from those historic highs it hit last year. 9.1%, I think, from memory, was the peak. So it has reduced. Now, do voters give you credit because prices are still rising but less quickly? You know, debatable.
Again, it's a tough place to hang your hat between that and Donald Trump. Approval polls, Biden's approval sits at 42%. So that's the Real Clear Politics average. Some have had him lower than that. Michelle Obama is liked by 61% of the country. She's second, I think, only to Gandhi and the Queen Elizabeth, both of whom are dead. Gavin Newsom's approval rating is at 58%. We've had Newsom watch here on the program for a while. What would you be watching for over the next couple of months to sort of read the tea leaves as to whether or not Democrats are making contingency plans?
I think there are, in a way, already contingency plans made, but it's just that the purpose of those plans isn't to push the president out of seeking re-election. Gavin Newsom is very clearly, Leland, positioning himself as a fallback option if some dramatic thing should happen or if the president should suddenly have second thoughts. What I find interesting is this is a point at the election cycle where you would expect to see the party coalescing behind a president. And in fact, we're seeing exactly the opposite of that, this sort of splintering or this rising anxiety.
Yeah, we'll never underestimate Republicans' ability to screw it up, which the one thing that will coalesce a party is impeachment by the other side, which is what's happening. So there you go. Niall, thank you very much.
Pleasure.
We appreciate the analysis as always. Thanks for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.